السلام حياة قد جاء في القرآن أن السلام.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to iTREND on ITV. I'm your host, Zaheerah Bham Ismail. It's a wonderful, warm Thursday in Johannesburg. We hope that everybody in Durban that experienced very severe flooding and had many possessions of theirs lost are safe, and we hope you're okay. We know we've seen many organizations on the ground doing phenomenal work and a lot of individuals helping each other out, and I think that's truly in the South African spirit. We do hope you're all safe and recovering from this week's events, inshallah, and that the sun is shining where you are, wherever you are today. Alhamdulillah, it's another week at iTREND, and we are bringing to you a name that you have seen on most of the shelves, in most of the places we go to, on social media, everywhere that we go, things that are making our lives a little bit easier, a little bit more simpler, and a little bit quicker. The Bake It Yourself group. And in my studio today, I have the wonderful and dynamic Zaheerah Bham. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Thanks, Sarah, for having us.
It's such a pleasure to have you here. I know, unfortunately, Miriam couldn't be with you today, but this is a partnership that started quite some time back. Tell us a little bit about how Bake It Yourself started.
Yeah, well, Bake It Yourself started back in 2012, actually at the end of 2011, when two of us were sitting with our kids thinking we should do something together just to have some fun. We then looked for a store. We opened up a little baking boutique store in the Rudaport area near Clearwater Mall. And we had absolutely fun. We managed to win the Small Business Award. And that was just selling baking products.
Fantastic.
And baking cakes, giving classes and all of that. And while we were there, we decided to start making the red velvet mix. And that took off very well.
So this was a friendship that obviously has gone back many years. Many people do other things for fun besides open up businesses. I think that's quite a brave decision. But when you're saying that you started up in 2012, what was the vision? I mean, did you realize how big this was going to grow, that it was in the premixes, or was it just for the love of baking?
It was for the love of baking. I think just we wanted to have something cool and funky in the baking industry to make it something not tedious and boring. You know, like the old people used to have. So we wanted to bring some sparkle into the baking business side of things. And when we were featured on one of the other business shows, they actually brought it to light that we're doing too many things and we should focus on one specific product. And that's what brought us to where we are today.
So there's always a chance to be learning from others as well.
No, definitely. It's a learning experience every day.
I can imagine so. Zaheerah, you mentioned that when you started in 2012, you had been nominated or you won the Small Business Award. Tell us a little bit about that.
So we were nominated and we went through to being one of the finalists. It's such an honor for us because we had just started like a mere 6 months. It was a good learning curve and we got to meet and also experience what other small businesses go through. So I think that was also just another fun experience.
Absolutely. But working with a friend, how difficult or how easy is that?
No, it's very, very easy. I think having our husbands behind us, they're like our CFOs. And
okay.
So they always are telling us to focus more, not to take it just as a hobby. And always asking, where's the books, where's this, where's that.
So making sure all's intact.
Yes, definitely.
Absolutely. So when you said then you were given the advice to hone in and to focus a little bit more. But before that you mentioned that you had this bakery. And I don't think many of us know about that.
Yeah, well, not in the northern suburbs. Well, it was a lovely little store. It was very well known in our area. But due to like overhead costs and things and due to personal circumstances, I had a son who was really ill. I think everything happens for a reason and Allah puts it that way. We decided to close up and initially we thought we'd do whatever we were doing there to bring it home. And that was our vision. And then at the same time, we decided, okay, let's just ditch everything that we don't need to deal with the smaller things. Let's focus just on one thing and grow it from there. And we decided to experiment with different products, and this is the range we've come up with.
Fantastic. So, and I mean, it is still quite a huge range, even though you said you've narrowed it down. It's a wonderful range. What have been the hiccups along the way with running your own businesses? I mean, both of you have other things to do. You're both mums, you're a family woman, you're a community woman, and yet you have this business running on the side as well. What has been the difficulties with running your business?
I think with us, because we've, especially we've got our own family issues and things, and very busy with family lives, we don't prioritize it as much. But we're learning and we're focusing and we're prioritizing. Other than that, it's just fun.
But I think that what's wonderful about that is that how much you enjoy what you're doing, because you actually really buy into it and you see it as still something that keeps your attention, that you're still having a lot of fun with, that hasn't become tedious.
Now, I think definitely, especially seeing how busy we are, and we just like two mums, I think we represent moms at large.
Fantastic.
So everyone's busy with their children. They've got in-laws, they've got family, they've got work. No one's really got time, well, there are a few people, to bake from scratch. And this just makes it so much easier. Keep it in the freezer, pop it out when you need it. And you still have your house smelling fresh. You're giving your kids good baking that's preservative-free. So I think it's just cutting out the mess in the kitchen, the fuss. And you can still say proudly you baked it yourself instead of you bought it from someone.
You know, I must tell you, you have saved me on so many occasions because I regularly keep these batters in my freezer. And very recently, my kids had to bake for an event, and clearly they had told me in the evening at 6 o'clock at night that they needed to bake for the next day. What was fantastic is I looked like a super mum because I said, no problem, we have it sorted, and out came the batter, and they managed to do everything themselves. From the baking to the decorating, they sorted it all out. But it made me look very competent because I was very organized.
And that's the thing, if the kids can even do it, is as long as they've got a bit of adult supervision with the oven. Even the husbands can do it.
That we're still waiting to see.
No, Khalil will definitely do it. No, there's no reason to stop for anyone from doing it. Especially I think this comes to a time where we have unannounced visitors as well. So people just phoning, we're around the corner, we're coming to visit, and we're like, oh no, we don't have anything. The cookie doughs can be popped in the microwave on one of the modes, and defrosted.
See, I didn't even know that.
And your house is smelling so fresh. They think you so amazing, and yeah, everyone's happy.
I love how the name, tell me about the name Bake It Yourself, because like you're saying, anyone walking in, they think, oh, I've baked it myself, which I have. I'm just not saying who's prepared it all for me.
Yeah, well, the name actually took us a while to come up with. I can still remember the day Miriam and I sat around, because our store was also called Bake It Yourself, and we sat around having tea and our kids all around, and we're sitting and brainstorming and thinking, what's a cool name? And the kids were all giving us ideas, and then we said, no, but we want something that explains that you do it yourself, that you must come into our store or buy our products and do it yourself. And then the kids were like, DIY. And we said, no, you can't call it DIY. And then we said, no, just bake it yourself. And so it's actually helped us with the brand because it's exactly what it is.
Absolutely.
Because you still bake it yourself.
Absolutely. And I think that's a wonderful part, is because you're still making us feel like we can do what we need to do.
Definitely.
Tell us a bit about how your range started when you were given the advice to slow down and to keep it directed, because there are many small businesses out there and entrepreneurs who are good at so many things and are trying to do so many things, but may not realize that the answer may just be in honing in and finding that one little niche market. When you were given the advice to slow down and to focus on one item, how did you make the decision as to what that one item would be?
I think we took our strength from it. We were doing cake classes, we were doing baking cakes for birthday cakes, wedding cakes, and it was so stressful, and we decided we've got to win a year with our red velvet. It's something easy, it's something we enjoy doing. Everything else is so much more stressful and would take up more time, and we thought of something that could really help people through daily lives, not just for special events. And that's when we decided, okay, let's just narrow it down to the batters, leave the classes, leave the baking, and do that. And then people can actually have a sense of accomplishment as well.
Fantastic. Tell me about what we have. What's our range that we've got
So
here?
we've got cupcake mixes. So we've got our plain vanilla, which can be transformed into anything as well. We've got the chocolate, the red velvet, and everybody's favorite is the carrot.
It's absolutely divine.
And then the complementing icings, which you'll see in front
Yes.
of the box, is the vanilla, the chocolate, and the cream cheese icing, which could be used for the red velvet and carrot. And then the cookie doughs range from choc chip to ginger to oats crunchy to butter, and our famous rainbow butter, which we tapped into the market way before everyone was into unicorns and rainbows and carnivals. And yeah, it's whether you're a kid or an adult,
I
everybody
have to
loves
show
the
this here
rainbow.
because I love the way you've actually put this onto a little lollipop stick, because for kids cake and bake sales this is also fantastic because you can drizzle this with chocolate and you're done.
Yes, that was actually come up with one of our bloggers, Fems,
Yes.
who, when she reviewed the products, said, we're always dunking into our tea and everything crumbles, so rather use a stick. And it's taken off, and people use their imagination. With our products, they use it in ice creams, they use it for desserts. It's so versatile that it will save you thousands of ways.
Absolutely. I think one of my favorites without a doubt has to be the ginger biscuit. It smells like I'm in my grandmother's home all over again. It's so, it just brings back so many memories. Tell me about your recipe development. Is this something that you have to constantly review on a regular basis, or have you found the right recipes that now work and you are sorted?
So yeah, the recipes took a lot of experimenting with before, but now they're tried and tested and nothing's changing. We may be adding a few more products. We're getting a lot of demand for gluten-free and a few other flavors and variants, so we're looking into that. We don't want to go too broad as well. And yeah, we always tell our customers that this is mother-in-law approved. So when you're saying grannies, because you get the husbands who come and say, but I don't know if my mom will like it. We're like, don't worry, it's approved by our in-laws. It will be approved by everybody.
But you both have wonderful mother-in-laws, so alhamdulillah, that makes it very easy.
No, definitely.
We're going to be taking a very quick ad break and having a little bit of biscuits while we wait. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation with Zaheerah Bham from Bake It Yourself. Stay tuned. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back after that ad break. I think that track that played now is surely one of all of our favorites. We all absolutely love it, so it's good to hear it back on again. We are chatting to Zaheerah Bham from Bake It Yourself. Zaheerah and Miriam have been in partnership from 2012 with the Bake It Yourself products, and has been taking us through their journey of how they've collaborated, how they've put together the small business, the hiccups they've had along the way, and also how they've perfected it and found their niche market. Zaheerah, in terms of getting your products out there, how do you make sure it's accessible for people everywhere?
Okay, so we are quite active on social media, on Instagram, so that's where a lot of our clients do see the products. We are in few butchers and small grocery supermarkets, and then we've got lady agents in all the small dorpy towns that like to keep it and make it available to them.
What I love about that is, again, you are encouraging small business enterprises because you're helping out women in various areas to create their own business through this as well. How have you find that model has been working?
So it has its pros and cons in terms of transport, as well as sometimes you come across people that aren't going to market it very well. So we've got to choose the people that we want to work with very carefully, that represent who we are.
Yes.
That have the same passion for the brand as well, because at the end of the day, it's your name that's going out.
I think many people forget about that, and that's something very important that you mentioned, that especially when you're using other people to sell your products, they have to have the same vision as you have, or else it doesn't end up working.
No, definitely, because you'll get people who'll just not advertise it at all, and people will come to us and say, but we didn't even know it exists. So I think over the years we've reviewed that and tried to make it a better model to work with.
As your brand has progressed, many people may think, oh, it's a home run business, so it shouldn't be that stressful. But obviously it comes with its own stresses. Have you still had to constantly do exactly the same things as you would do in any other business?
I think we each have our roles in the business, and we've got our employees that help us a lot. I think the stress comes in just making sure we always have stock available and that our customers tell us on time when they do need their stock. So sometimes we do have a run-in if we go away on holiday and things like that. That's when we're not as flowing as a normal business.
But you mentioned something very important now when you spoke about the different roles that you both have. How do you identify that for many people who are starting up at home, whether it's with family or with friends or even just as a couple, how do you define your roles in a business so that you both understand what you have to do?
I think with Miriam and I, we've got such a good relationship, and we've understood each other, and we know what we both want from the business. We've literally taken it as more as a hobby, as our husbands would say. But I think a lot of people will warn you, don't go into business with friends.
Yes.
Don't go into business with family because it can break your friendship. But I think this has really glued us together.
Alhamdulillah. And then, like you said, you've learned how to work through the difficult things and come out stronger for that.
Definitely.
Shakira, with your products that you have, many of us worry about when you're putting it on the shelves and when we're buying stuff that seems ready-made, about the amount of preservatives that are going in, whether it's something that is just going to be homemade or whether we're putting extra stuff into our children that they don't need.
Yeah, this is definitely exactly like how you would bake at home. It's preservative-free, and every single batch that goes out is tested. There's a lot of quality control before it hits the shelves.
And I think that's so important for many of us to know, because we know exactly what we're buying, because this is something you would feed your own family as well.
No, definitely.
Absolutely.
And we wouldn't want to kill them.
Absolutely. Shakira, tell me about product development and about finding, we talked about how you found your name, but your logo, putting on stickers. I think the thing is, many people don't know about packaging and about putting things out there, because I've seen a number of amazing products and absolutely divine products, but in terms of taking it to that next level of making sure it's packaged properly or it's labeled properly and then presented to the next person. Who helped you through that process, or how did you get to that point?
Well, both of us sat down and did that, and it was disastrous in the beginning trying to figure out how we're going to package it. Even with the cupcake mixes, we first had it in a triangular, like a icing bag.
Yes.
And we thought that would look more presentable and make it easier for the customer. But when we saw it in the shelves in certain stores, we realized for packing and displaying, it didn't work, because if it slightly gets soft and then freezes, then you get a lot of creases. Also, people don't have enough space. So if it's a big triangle thing, they've got a lot of empty gaps. So then we went for the more rectangular. With the cookie doughs, we decided to do it in logs as well, so that it could just be sliced. We were first thinking, a lot of people said, just put it in a tub, and it's so much easier. So a lot of thinking processes went through it, as well as a lot of testing and laughing along the way.
And thank goodness that both of you have a good sense of humor, because I'm sure there's been a lot of laughing along this journey as well.
No doubt. And a lot of tears. But it's all memories now.
Absolutely. I think the one thing that you're highlighting that's important for me and for many entrepreneurs who are watching is that success is not immediate. There's a lot of failures and a lot of hiccups, but you have to just keep going.
Definitely. And I think if you're passionate about it, continue. I mean, you're not going to make $1 million in the first year, even in the first 4 years. We haven't done that. But if you have a love for something and you put your heart into it, definitely success will come. And I think it's just commitment, and you've got to keep on marketing. And we went through a stage, but that's because of personal reasons, where we slowed down completely. And then we decided, just, do we go on or do we stay? And it was actually my decision, telling Miriam, no, we're not stopping. We have to carry on, because it's something that gives us great pleasure. And
also becomes something that you can hold on to, because this is your own.
Yeah, I think my children have grown up with it in the house, so they all know it as, a lot of people don't even call it bake it yourself, we know it as DIY. So it's just become a household brand.
With the changing times from when you started 2012 to where we are now, social media has taken a huge platform in terms of how businesses advertise themselves and how they get their word out there, not just for corporate businesses or big businesses, but even for small home industry businesses, because many people like myself will check online to see what's available. How have you had to adapt your advertising and how have you managed to stay ahead of it all the time, because you've got a very strong social media presence?
I think, yeah, when we started off, there was only Facebook, there was no Instagram, so we struggled to get the word out there as much. But I think with the advent of Instagram, it's made everybody wants to like, everyone wants to hashtag, and I think that's where a lot of small businesses now especially are making their name. We're more visible, we're able to see what everyone's doing in everyone's houses, what are people using in their homes. So I think that's what Bake It Yourself resonates as well. And I think with what was I gonna say?
Tell me also about your vision with going forward, because like we mentioned now, and you've said also how you've had to make this strong social media presence. You've had to put yourself out there on Instagram. People seeing it, people love the hashtags. They like seeing that you reposting their pictures of what they've done with your products. Where's the vision for Bake It Yourself going forward? Where do you and Miriam want to see yourselves?
Well, we definitely want to be in the major retail stores. We're just trying to get everything set into place at the moment. But yeah, that's our main vision.
And inshallah, may you see that very, very
inshallah.
soon.
I mean, we get a lot of calls from overseas as well. Can't you bring it here? Can't you do it here? We said first we need to get our logistics right nationally. And,
yes.
And that's the thing with small business as well, is people want to go big so quick. And I think you've got to serve your local community first, then your province, and then broaden out, and then go nationally.
And I think, like you're saying, making sure you've got the logistics in place in terms of how you send it there, because at the end of the day, you don't want to compromise your product at all, no matter where the end user may end up being.
No, definitely. I mean, we were sending to Cape Town, but logistics became a bit of an issue with the person there not being able to collect all the time. Durban's doing tremendously well, and that's what we'd love to tell everyone here, that KZN, it is available there.
Fantastic.
And they're doing really, really phenomenally well. So we've sorted out KwaZulu-Natal with the right logistics. So we're looking into going everywhere else.
Great stuff. Shakira, I think your wealth of wisdom in sharing also of how to take small businesses, how to grow it, how to take visions, have your hiccups along the way, but to keep getting back up again and to review your products and make sure that your customers get a phenomenal, fantastic product at the end of it. It's absolutely wonderful.
Shame, Jazakallah. I think as long as people love what they bite into, they'll always come back for more.
I like that. That should be your hashtag. We're going to be taking a very quick ad break. When we come back, we're going to be chatting a little bit more to Zaheerah Bham about things that have been happening with regards to PH Kids. Our next guest is a little bit late, so we're going to be chatting to other ladies also about what's happening the rest of this weekend around Johannesburg. Feel free to call in as well. Stay tuned. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Our next guest is a little bit late, but we are going to be catching up on what else has been happening over social media. So I'm keeping Zaheerah Bham in studio with me because, as you know, Zaheerah Bham is also a PH Kids founder, PH Kids SA founder, and many of us have been working with her to raise awareness for pulmonary hypertension. And you have probably seen Humaira all over social media and on our shows before. Assalamu alaikum, Humaira. How are you?
Alhamdulillah.
It's so good to have you back here this morning. I heard that you had a wonderful experience in Durban at the Zara store.
Gee.
What was different this time? Did they let you in with the trolley?
Yes.
Zaheerah, take us through a little bit about what had happened a few months ago.
Well, a few months ago, we went to the Cresta Zara, and because it was an unplanned visit, I didn't have a mobility scooter. And I thought I'd just rush in and get some Eid clothing, and I just shoved it in the trolley because, as you can see with the oxygen concentrator, it is quite hard to carry that and carry Humaira in as well because she can't walk long distances. And when I walked in with the trolley, at the security came up and told me I'm not allowed in. We then had a few words said to each other. They then called the manager, and basically at the end of that I was told I wasn't allowed in. I took it up with Zara head office, and it escalated right up to international, where they finally, after a social media outcry, which we would like to thank everyone for helping us do that, decided that they would change their policies. We received an email about a month ago confirming they've done training and implementation, but I'm sure you also aware so many companies will have it in writing, but it's not put through and not followed through in stores. So I was a bit hesitant on going, and I kept telling them and joking with the kids that we're going to go into Zara, and they were like, yeah, I doubt you'll get in. anyways, I left it, and when we were on holiday now 2 weeks ago, we were in Gateway also unplanned. I had to take my nephew to get a few things, put Humaira in the trolley, and as we were passing the Zara store, I told them, let's just go in and see, will we even get through the door? And they said, oh, we have to see this. And Humaira was very excited to see would she be allowed in, which to me is like a bittersweet feeling. Why would she be worried about such a thing? We walked through. At this time there was no security at the entrance, so we managed to pass at least a few meters into the store, and there I saw the security coming at quite a speed to me, telling me, sorry ma'am, you can't. And then immediately he saw Humaira on the oxygen, he saw her machine, and he just put his hand out there to let me through. And
fantastic.
I actually told him, well done. I was just testing to see how you've been implemented and trained, and I absolutely love it.
Well, congratulations to you. I think it just goes to show that when we want to see change happen, we actually need to stop just complaining about it. We need to effectively take the right steps to make sure the change happens. And well done to both of you for changing that for so many other children as well. So congratulations.
Thanks so much, Sarah.
Fantastic. We've got online with us now Nosheen Getta. Nosheen, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
It's such a pleasure to have you on air with us today, Nosheen. You are now heading up an organization called CWF Kids. Tell us a little bit about that.
Gee, alhamdulillah. The idea of this was basically to get our children more involved in giving charity. Today, alhamdulillah, in South Africa, our children do a lot, but today's kids, they sort of sense entitled and things like that, so we decided to get them more into it and more involved into doing things on their own. So it must be from them, you know, their own initiatives and things like that.
Fantastic. How is the response being from these kids? Because this is predominantly, like you said, a kids-run initiative. The kids are actively involved and giving back and understanding where they're giving back to. But you are sitting in a far-off place, and I'll let you tell our viewers where you are. Tell us a little bit about how it's been and the response has been from the children around.
No, alhamdulillah, it's been fantastic. We've had great response from children throughout the country. We've got area representatives in Mafeking, Rustenburg, Houghton, Sandton, Sunning Hill, all over South Africa. And I myself am based in Kranskop in KZN. That's near in Kandla. I'm sure more people will understand that, right? But basically what we're doing is got the area representatives throughout the country, sort of grouping the kids in their area, getting the kids active in their areas.
Yes.
And our current project is raising funds for Syrian special needs children in Syria, and getting wheelchairs for them. So that's our current project, and inshallah the next project will be sorting out a school in your specific area and raising funds for stationery and uniforms and whatever needs the school in your area has.
And alhamdulillah, so this is something that is ongoing. It won't be an end thing. This is to continuously make sure our children know about giving charity on a regular basis.
Definitely.
Fantastic. Shukran so much for joining us on air. Let us know, where can our viewers find out more about CWF Kids and how can they get in touch with you?
Inshallah, soon there'll be a website up, but for now we have a Facebook page called CWF Kids South Africa. People can go there, send us a message from there, and we'll get you in touch with an area representative in your area. Alternatively, if you'd like to be more involved and become an area representative, that will be great as well. So people can then contact me or contact one of the people on the page and become an area representative. It will be a lovely thing to be doing in all the areas and getting more and more kids involved in South Africa.
We wish you only the best and absolute success in all you do. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you for the amount of time and effort you're putting to making sure all our kids get involved as well.
Jazakallah.
I mean, I think we have to go for a quick ad break, but I know Shatira from Montgomery Park was also on the line to chat to us about an event that she'll be doing this weekend, but we'll see if we can get hold of her after the ad break, inshallah. Stay tuned. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back to the last segment of iTrend. We're very grateful and appreciative that Hawa has made it all the way from Vereeniging in this morning traffic, alhamdulillah. So without further delay, Hawa Patel, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Shukran so much for being on air with us. It's such a pleasure to have you here. Hawa, you have been the chairperson of Aval Muslim Women's Forum for the last 21 years, an organization that is well established and well known. Tell us a little bit about how it started and where you are today.
Okay, Jazakallah for having us on air today. Zaheerah, about 21 years ago, we were mums on the soccer ground watching our boys playing soccer. And then the mums discussed that there's so much that the Roshni menfolk are doing in terms of cricket and soccer and other sports for our boys, and there isn't much where our youth, our young girls are involved in. So it was at that soccer ground meeting that we decided that let's get together and we create a group, a forum where we can empower our young girls and then also uplift humanity at the same time. And that's when it started now 21 years ago. Gee.
Alhamdulillah, and it's grown tremendously since then.
Alhamdulillah.
And how many members are you currently, and what is the current state of what Aval Muslim Women's Forum is doing?
Okay, alhamdulillah, we have a number of projects that we're involved in. Our dedicated members who are available most of the time are about plus minus 50 and then we have a separate volunteers group. That volunteers group goes up to 200 ladies, but now that volunteer group involves moms who are either working, who got children, or well, we've got a separate youth forum group as well. But the volunteers is like for today. Every Thursdays, one of our major projects is the hospital feeding scheme. We're on a Wednesday, thanks to many businessmen who contribute towards the bread and the juice and the fruits, and our ladies who put money together, we're able to make sandwiches on a Wednesday that is taken on a Thursday morning. Like this morning, the ladies are gone off. We take some learners every week from the Islamic school to go out to distribute these sandwiches, and that at Kopanong, our hospital. And it's a form of dawah as well. And we've really realized when we go out there how much we have to make shukr for in our comfort zone, because many of these patients are there like from 5, 6 in the queue. So when we go out and distribute these little sandwiches and things, it's for them like a blessing because they are hungry at that time. So now on the volunteers group, those who are available would come and assist us on a Wednesday to make the sandwiches, and then on a Thursday we've got groups and they'll join the group. So that's where the volunteers. The dedicated members are those who are involved in our daily activities. We have ongoing fundraisers. We have local, we deal with a lot of social cases with members of the community, the businessmen as well. We form the Zakat Fund and the Roshni Baitul Mal, where we don't duplicate our work. And alhamdulillah, with that mashwara, we assist people in Roshni and in the Val area at large. And also we work with the Vereeniging Muslim Women's Group, that's mostly women that also part of the township, Shaver, Ironside, Lakeside. So we have a close relationship. So we work on a lot of projects together where we have iftar feeding programs, we have skills development programs. So yes, alhamdulillah, we do a lot of GRC.
You spoke now about the dealing with a lot of the social issues. This is a very community-based group, and a lot is dealt with in the community. What are the kind of problems that you see that are increasing on a regular basis, not just in your community, but for us as a general ummah?
Yeah, sadly, alhamdulillah, okay, with the economic situation, we realize that even if a family has bread and milk in their home, we should say alhamdulillah, because things are really bad. Meat and that has become a luxury in many homes, and we find that many people don't even have bread and milk by the middle of the month, and that is like sad. That, and on the other end, we have so many people who abuse what they have. And then another problem we found, and very common, is social problems. You know, maybe we lived in extended families, so we stayed in marriages with problems and we made things happen. But now what's happening is that with social problems, it's affecting the children as well. So children even come to school that are disturbed. You can see it in their work process. And at the same time, they are lost. So in this, so we're dealing with a lot of social problems and drug-related. Oh, it's sad. It's really sad. But it's not so bad. The drug situation is not so bad in Roshni, because we have a group of they fall under the Rauf, and they meet every Mondays, and they try to be a support system for those who are encountering some difficulty. But in the Vaal area too, we're picking up that it's increasing, yeah.
However, you are also an educator. So you come from an educational background. You deal with children on a regular basis. You mentioned now seeing these social difficulties being perpetuated when the kids come to school. You're seeing it in the children as well. How can we as families ensure that our kids have that stability that they need growing up? Because I think very often as families, we have to remind ourselves that our children are a blessing and we have a duty to them. Once they come along, that's our duty. We have an obligation to them.
Yeah, 100%. You see, we're losing it. I think it's this technology generation, the me generation. What's happening is, even when I sit on one-on-one with the learners, I find that they don't have what we had, and we must value that is a family love and the bond that we created, especially like at meal times. We were able to sit with our parents, and we still do.
Yes.
Alhamdulillah, with my teenage boys and daughter, we're able to sit with their father and discuss current affairs. I mean, I live with my father-in-law and my mother-in-law's with us. My father-in-law's late. We were able to talk politics, sports. And I find these children, when they come to the year, they want to discuss these things because this is not happening on their table. They say that they don't talk or they don't eat together, or their parents are always on the phone, or the parents and the children are always locking themselves in the room. So we need to go back and go to a simple way of life. Put technology at certain time, allow that in your house. And then I think communication, that's what's lacking in our environment. I think the lack of communication, so that's why our children are reaching out to wrong avenues.
Yes.
So we need to just spend more time. It's not about giving money. We know that the materialistic love and that doesn't bring happiness.
Yes.
And that's what we think is going to give our children joy. We want to work harder so that we can give them the best. But at the end of the day, they're not happy. They're yearning for happiness. They want us to be with us, to spend quality time. We can go out with them, just have a picnic. We don't do that with our children anymore. So that's where we're lacking this communication, this bond, this warmth in a family environment, yeah.
And you also feel that from what you've seen, if we start putting that back and we put that emphasis back, we're already starting to fix a lot of the problems we see.
Definitely, simplicity. You won't need workshops. You won't need to go to marriage councils. Just start simple at home at the supper table.
Absolutely.
Make certain meals compulsory. There's no phones, and you sit and you talk and you discuss. You don't have to discuss what other people do, but discuss how your day went.
Yes.
Tell them about what's happening around the world. Children don't even know in grade 8 and 9. When I start my computer literacy class, I leave 5 minutes for news, current affairs. 4 or 5 can tell you what's happening in a class of 30. Why? Nobody discusses with them. They don't read the newspaper. They're following Instagram on the wrong. They're following the wrong social websites. So what's happening is, let's come back to the drawing table. Let's sit at our supper table. Start discussing sports. Let's start discussing what happened in Rohingya. Let's happen what locally. The floods, they don't even know. Yesterday when I mentioned about the hospitals in Addington and in Durban, what happened to them, that they had to move the patients. These children was really, what? I mean, this is happening in our environment. So we are to be blamed as adults. We're not making time with our children.
Absolutely. And I think you've hit the nail on the head by saying, let's discuss current affairs. Let's make sure they're up to date so that they know, so they become active citizens.
And they make shukr with what they have.
Absolutely. However, you earlier mentioned having a youth forum. Tell us a little bit about the development of the youth forum and where it is at the moment.
Yes, Alhamdulillah, we have the youth forum has works hand in hand with our Roshi Islamic School as well. And we network with other youth around. But really it is that we have to leave a legacy, because someone has to continue the work. And like even the businessmen say, get the youth involved so they will be on the right track. And alhamdulillah, whenever organizations reach out for assistance, then we get the youth involved to fundraise, to be part of fundraisers. We take them out to orphanages when we go. Great. We take them out to hand out things like, there's a disabled school near our in Judea, and we take the children, and the children come back and they say, oh, Appa, we didn't know. That these people live like this. Their parents have abandoned them. We must make shukr. So it's an eye-opener. So that's why, alhamdulillah, our ladies love to take the youth, because they also find contentment and they see the joy that children are be able to see life differently than the comfort of our environment. And also, like with the South African National Muslim Forum, we network with other groups, right? Yes. So when there's something happening in other towns, we try to get involved. Like, for example, one of the groups is having the tin collection. And then our school girls and our youth, the youth forum, are now trying to collect tins for Colors of Hope that's there. So they like when an organization, so we are allowing them to network with other youth. And another thing is that the youth need leadership.
Absolutely.
So like you people have the CWF kids, they need leadership, and if we're not going to guide them, we're going to have a lost generation.
I agree with you.
It needs a lot of energy from our side, but Allah, the reward is from Allah.
Absolutely. Hawa, I know we're running short on time. We're still so glad that you made it. You've got a big event coming up this weekend with the South African National Muslim Women's Forum. We have Yvonne Ridley coming into our country, onto our shows to speak to us. Tell us very briefly about what our viewers can look forward to for this event.
Okay, we've got a host of prolific speakers, and the list is endless. But the thing is, we need to get out of our comfort zone and empower ourselves. And here are people who are educated in the professional fields, who are sacrificing their time to come and give us and impart some knowledge. Some topics that will be discussed with Islamic law, Islamic inheritance, and many avenues that we are sitting back unaware, ignorant. So if you just take the time, get out, there are a few tickets available, and if they could just even get your youth, I say, make a date with your daughter and come along.
Absolutely.
And sit there and benefit, because sometimes we don't know how to explain or express with our little knowledge. Here's an opportunity where people are sacrificing their time, their knowledge to share. And so let's get out, take advantage of this conference that happens once a year, and benefit from whatever is being given, inshallah.
Absolutely. The South African National Muslim Women's Forum has their conference coming up this Saturday. There is a huge lineup, as Hawa said, of prolific speakers. And I've seen the list of people there. It's diverse. It's fantastic. It's going to be an educational morning. If you'd like to attend, please get in touch with me. We will give you Faiza's number, who will then sell you the tickets that are available. I think there are only a few left. Hawa, Jazakallah for joining us on air. It's been a pleasure chatting with you as well. Shukran for joining us on air today. I know it's been jam-packed. There's a lot happening over this weekend. Have a wonderful, safe weekend wherever you are. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always be with you. And we look forward to seeing you next week, same time, same place. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.